president for the very first time. Yes, he does have relatives in the Burlington area, and many people have tried to get in touch with them and talk to them. He has a sister there. He has a brother-in-law who is working in Ottawa, as a matter of fact. And we have tried from time to time to get in touch with these people, but they keep a very low profile. It's by design. They just don't want to be seen running around and talking about the president because they realize the hazards of that, of course. People running up wanting their opinions on policy between Canada and the United States, and that would certainly be a no-no. There's been a lot of advance publicity in the press in the United States about this trip, not very much on electronic media, but certainly in the press. And Fareed Zakaria, who hosts a prominent show on the news cable network CNN, wrote a piece about the World Economic Forum ranking Canada's banking system as the healthiest in the world, ranking the United States as the 40th and Britain's as the 44th. And he referred to the genius of Canadians. And you know what he says our genius is, Craig and Tom? He says our genius is good old common sense. We decided that we weren't going to allow our banks to simply...
You might also say that we are a nation who've learned civility and compromise. That's what's kept us together, really, the ability to compromise our differences starting from the very beginning.
And I think, too, in that article, he pointed it out, you know, there was a contest for the world's most boring headline, and the winner was Worthwhile Initiative in Canada.
Yes.
But, I mean, as was pointed out in that article, and by others, I might say, you know, he said,
Here
well,
it
maybe
is.
for once...
Here's the shot we've been waiting for. The President of the United States, on his own, descending the steps, ready to be greeted by the crowd at the bottom of the stairs there, the Governor General. Yes, that's the head of protocol. The American talking to him first of all, John Brennan, the Assistant of Homeland Security. He's on the plane. Carol Browner, Energy and Climate Coordinator in the White House. And he's having his first words with our Governor General. And these are two gregarious people. They smile easily, they reach out, they touch. And obviously they have a lot in common, as Bob Fife mentioned a moment ago. That's Michael Wilson in the foreground there, the current Canadian ambassador to Washington. They would be known to each other. Down the line, being introduced by the Governor General to these various officials, most of whom he would have met before. Now, I don't know whether we'll actually see some of these other people accompanying the President, because he seems to be operating solely on his own at the moment, but with him on the plane is General Jim Jones, who is his national security advisor. He was the Supreme Commander in Europe. That was his last post after a 40-year career that took him to Vietnam and elsewhere. So now, the President, accompanied by the Governor General, heading into the Billy Bishop Lounge, where they will have a little tete-a-tete for some period of time, about 20 minutes, half an hour, as a matter of fact. And this is the moment that Canadians have been waiting for so long, to see him on Canadian soil. This man who has this rock star-like popularity all over the world right now. And the weight on his shoulders, and yet he carries it, it seems, so easily.
It's Tom here. There's an interesting part of this picture. Take a look at this. The U.S. President, who is not, African-American in the true sense of the word, and the Governor General, who is from Haiti. It shows the changing face of this continent. I think it's quite striking to see the two of them together.
Yes, of course, they have that commonality because they also, both of them, have been to Africa. He went there, and as he outlines in his book, Audacity of Hope, he went there to talk about his roots, find his roots, find out about his father. And she went there in 2006, just after she was sworn in as Governor General. And one of her first trips, as a matter of fact, was to Ghana and Mali and the African continent. And she said, we want to be sure that we demonstrate to the people of Africa the values of Canada and how we appreciate those values and how we would like the people of the world to know about them. And so they both have that in common, and one would think that they would spend a lot of time talking about that, Craig. And you and I were discussing this yesterday, and they're both gregarious people. They both smile easily, they chat easily. So one would think that they'd be spending a lot of time talking about that in the Billy Bishop Lounge. Billy Bishop, of course, the World War I air ace, the little lounge at Hangar 11 named after him.
Yes, she was very moved when she reached Ghana. She went to the prison, which was the last stop before African slaves were loaded on the boats to come to North America and the Caribbean. She cried there, and that was a very emotional moment for her. She has obviously deep feelings about her roots in Africa. And of course, Obama also is seriously concerned and involved with African issues. So no doubt that's what they will talk about. The other point about her is, although most English Canadians won't realize this, she was a media star in her own right in the province of Quebec. So they kind of share that television stardom too, and he will know about that.
Yes, he would be thoroughly briefed on that, one would think, Craig. She came to Canada with her family in 1968, having fled the oppressive regime of Papa Doc Duvalier in Haiti, and worked her way up to becoming, as you say, a media star, and then on to Governor General. Quite a story, and his story, too, is an incredible one. And he went to Kenya to discover his roots, find out about his father. It was a bit of a disappointment for him, as he outlines in his book. And I believe that Lisa Laflamme, our national affairs correspondent, who's on Parliament Hill, has someone from Barack Obama's home country with her right now. Lisa?
That's right, Lloyd. I'm with a group of Kenyan Canadians. In fact, I'm joined by Sarah Onyango, which is the exact same name as Barack Obama's grandmother.
Two of the same.
But, you know, we're just looking at the pictures of Michaëlle greeting Barack Obama. We're here on Parliament Hill. But your thoughts on that image in your mind?
The first black head of state of a Western country, our Governor General, and the second black head of state of a Western country, the President of the United States. What an amazing picture and what an inspiration, not just for black Canadians, but all the people of the world that are dreaming of a time when we're not even going to talk about the first black this or the first Chinese that or the first Asian whatever. We're just going to look at people and think they're just great leaders.
And yet you're here with your Kenyan
flag. We have to remind Obama where that African and African American comes from. It comes from Kenya. Yes.
Now you rival most African Americans in your T-shirt and then
hello.
A sense of why it was so important for you to come here.
Oh, I mean, again, I went to Washington. I followed his Senate race from 2004. I've been following this man's career ever since he burst onto the political scene and nationally. And for me, this is sort of a culmination of my the Obama experience. I mean, if you went all the way to Washington, why would you not be on Parliament Hill when it comes to your hometown?
Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to speak with you. Enjoy the experience today, and there's a lot of stories like that today, Lloyd.
Right. And again, an example of the changing culture of this country and the changing culture of the United States, too, Lisa. Thank you very much. People from Kenya. And there's a live picture of the two of them chatting together in the Billy Bishop Lounge. And you can see that there's a lot of intensity there on the part of Barack Obama, who is really interested in what this woman has to say. And she herself is a real charmer. Anywhere she's gone in this country, anywhere she's gone in the world, in fact, she is considered to be a great representative for Canada. Here the camera is clicking in the background there. This is about a 20-minute chat, apparently, and one would think that it's unscripted, but there would have been a lot of studying up by both sides to be sure that it goes well, because this is the initial conversation by a Canadian government personage in the person of the Governor General of Canada.